series, we've been looking at old school miniatures from the late 80s and into the early 90s that we think deserve some recognition and would also be great models to use to add some character to your rank and flank armies and your rank and flank units that you may be now putting together for your games of Warhammer the Old World. A lot of people from various forms and groups have been bemoaning that the armies that are available to the box sets at the moment are supplied with older style plastic sprues. But we don't think that offers you the greatest choice. We think that for individual character, you can't go any worse than looking at the metal models that predated those plastic sprues. So we've done a series of 5 videos. If this is the first one you're looking at, please go back and have a look at those previous other 4 videos to see what's on our top 5 list. And we could have really gone on indefinitely looking at these old hammer models and look at probably the best one from each range. But we wanted to have a cut-off point, we wanted to have a pinnacle, and we wanted to reach our choice of the number 1 old hammer miniature. So let's see whether you agree with us or not. Now, I want to put a little caveat in this start of this episode and start things off a little differently. I'm not going to go through the regime of how we've come to our choices because, again, there's a lot of you who've been with us since the first few videos and you're bored of me saying it. And again, for those of you who are new to the video, please go back and have a look at those previous videos so you can see the criteria in which we're working. But what I want to do is start off this video by really paying homage to the design and sculpting team that existed at Games Workshop during the period of these metal models from the late 80s into the early 90s. People like the Perry twins, Ali Morrison, Trish Carden, Kevin Adams that we had a look at last episode, and the vast amount of miniatures that they made during that period, and then what a joy it was to look through and reminisce about these old models that some I used to own, some I didn't, and having a look about what we could make our choices from. This of course means laying kudos at the feet of Jez Goodwin. Arguably the most prolific, and as we can see from previous episodes, his work is greatly appreciated. And it's no real wonder that the number 1 model is one of his sculpts, seeing as literally 4 out of the top 5 have been from his sculpting table. The actual selection that we could go to for Jez is massive. He's a sculptor that's been working directly for Games Workshop since 1985, having moved from previous employment at Asgard Miniatures. So how did we come and choose just one? Well, this is where I've relied on both my cohort of friends, whom I first went to when I was putting this list together, but also have heard your suggestions over the weeks where this series has been coming out. And there's been one model that keeps coming up. In White Dwarf number 79, not only being the copy of the White Dwarf that had the awesome John Blanche Amazonian cover, had an advert to highlight 2 miniatures of a forthcoming range. That range was the C23 Ogres, and the advert contained the absolutely awesome Hrothgar, Ogre mercenary captain to the hellish sellswords. And as you can see, not a bad price back then at £1.95 per model. He became instantly poster boy for the Ogres, appearing in multiple artworks, multiple books, from John Blanche to the 3rd edition army book, magazines, even up until now. The model itself belonged to a range of what would be 16 mercenary or renegade ogres that could be fielded within a multitude of armies, especially in 3rd edition. And Hrothgar's artwork is constantly depicted about him fighting alongside the dwarves in the Goblins and Dwarf Wars, but still being enough of an ogre character to be wearing an award of the Great Eater belt buckle. by out-eating his arch rival Goldfag in a 3-day eating competition during which he devoured a halfling village, including livestock, and a haystack to be used as roughage. The miniature itself is still a stalwart figure oozing character, and as such can be seen in many individual collections, whether from our friend Race Wisp through to Golden Demon winners to others. And this model is a firm favourite throughout the community. The model again is still available through many avenues, and there are also others who have created 3D prints of alternative designs, but it's still very much recognisable from the original metal model. But if you are going to go for the original, a good quality version will cost you around about £30. So this is the only model that within our series of 5 has not made one of our requirements, and that is the requirement of cost being in line with the single model of the Knight Paladin that's available to us from Forge World. But I think if you have a look at the actual scale of the model and the size of the model, if you put that against something else, singular models that were the same size, I'm sure the cost from somewhere like the individual models for GW or the individual models for Forge World would be far in excess of what you get this original metal model for. So let's have a look at one of our other criteria, the paint. Now again, because this model is a firm favourite throughout the community, there is no shortage of examples, of painted examples of these models. So just doing a quick Google search has led us to a few photos that we're going to put now up in our gallery. So you can just say the awesome level of paintwork that can be achieved on Hrothgar. And again, it's not going to stand out to its detriment that it's going to look stupid against more modern miniatures. To my mind, the modern ogres that we are available now through their refresh for Age of Sigmar, I don't like them. I think they could be looking at him as being based on horror movies such as Cabin in the Woods or something like that, if you know that horror movie and know the bad guy types in this. It seems a bit like they've moved away from the hero stature that the ogres could have within the army and have left them to be more on about being big halflings than anything else. So there you have it. That's our number one choice. Is it yours? Does it appear on your list? Now, it's been a real pleasure putting this list together, and I just want to thank all those who have helped with the selections. My friend Rafe Wisp for letting me use the images of his awesome paintwork throughout these videos, and finally you guys who have liked and subscribed to the channel during this series. Along with your comments, it's made this first foray into a series of videos like this something that I will be visiting again in the future. So if you've liked the style and haven't as yet, please drop us a like and subscribe again so you can keep up with developments of the channel itself and keep up to date with us. Next up, for next video, I'm going to slightly turn the tables a little bit. I'm going to get the people who have helped me make the decision on these top 5 to come on and champion their figures. So it's going to be friends and a mix of friends from other content creators, names within the industry, Golden Demon winners, etc, etc, and all the way down to the benchmark that's been my friends that I have played with from countless years. And let's see if the models they champion tie up in any way to our top 5 old hammer miniatures that we've brought you. Again, without them, I'd never be able to run this series of videos, and it would just be my choice. And to be quite honest, my choices would be a bit more problematic, shall we say, and cause a lot more diversion within you guys, the community. So I'm hoping that using them as my benchmark has helped me get a more rounded look at the different types of models that we've included in our top 5. So thanks very much. Thanks very much for taking the time to watch. And again, I hope that your dice treat you well in your games from Dungeons to Starships.